Back in Chicago, Jordan Love favored in the Bears rematch. That was down to the wire before Caleb threw a game-ending interception. No Micah this time around, so we'll see how that Packers defense look. Look at the tail of the tape from the last matchup. Packers won this one, 28-21. Caleb walked away with the dub, but
Jordan Love walked away
with the dub.
Caleb threw the pick.
Played better and won.
Yeah.
Caleb turned it on in the second half.
Yeah, but threw the pick.
But J-Lo still.
We'll start with you. Who has more to prove, Jordan Love or Caleb?
Jordan Love.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Because I think Caleb, this season, the story for the Bears was, let's see if Caleb's their franchise quarterback, right? He's proven that.
Sure.
Like the Bears know now, we've got our guy, and we can win big with him.
You don't hear as much about Tyson Bagent as you once did.
Right. Like they know, not only is he the guy, we can win with him.
Yes.
We can play at a high level and be a contender at least with him. Everything else is great. And I get it, Ben Johnson and Caleb, to their credit, are now thinking probably Super Bowl, which they should be. But everything is gravy now. We got our guy. We got a great coach. We're good, okay? For Jordan Love, it is like he's older than Caleb, obviously.
By a lot, yeah.
And now they still, I don't think, they're obviously not as good without Micah, but I don't think the bar should be lowered for them, certainly not in that locker room. Because coming into this season, before they even got Micah, they should have been thinking Super Bowl. They've been to the playoffs the last few years, right? They played well 2 years ago in the playoffs, and they're still the youngest team, but they have good experience. So Jordan Love has to prove, I can carry a team to the Super Bowl. That's what he has to prove. And I think to beat the Bears twice in the same season, you know I'm kind of big on divisional rivalries and sweeping. A team that's on your level, to sweep them would be huge. And I think, Greg, it would really kind of comfort the fans, for lack of a better word, in Green Bay to feel like, oh, even without Micah, we still got a chance to win this thing.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think it's Caleb in this situation, Caleb Williams, simply because you talked about the expectations coming into the season. Well, those expectations start to change once you start winning. And that's what the Chicago Bears have done. They've been able to win. So now, naturally, regardless of how you came into the season thinking, oh, is this going to be our guy? You know he's your guy. Not only do you know he's your guy, you believe now, shoot, we have an opportunity to win this whole thing this year. So and based off of what we saw last week and his performance and the throw that he made in the back of the end zone, and he's doing all of this, that's great against the Cleveland Browns, a team that we all say good defense, bad team. Can you do that against teams that you're going to be playing and facing in the postseason? Are we going to get that version of Caleb Williams against the Green Bay Packers that we didn't get in the first half? We got in the second half, and then you fell apart at the end of the game and had a chance to win it, didn't do it. They're trying to see, can you take that next step? Caleb needs to prove that he is willing and capable of taking that next step. Jordan Love, we've seen play at a high level. In prime moments, we've also seen him have dips. Yeah. But Caleb, he hasn't had that prime time game where it's like, did you see Caleb last night? Did you watch Caleb against an awesome defense, an awesome team, despite who was on the field? So it's definitely Caleb.
So that I totally agree with you, Greg. And because Jordan Love is established. Now, we might.
You feel okay?
I do feel like
he's
established.
There's been a lot of doubt on this.
That's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say. Like, to me, the debate for Jordan Love is he MVP caliber the way some people believe he was going to be this year, or is, or is he just like solid franchise quarterback? I agree with you, Brew, that Caleb has done enough this year that it has, at the very least, removed bust from the possibility. You know what I mean? From the possible outcomes, barring some catastrophic injury or something. But he has not yet. They don't have, I don't think, a marquee victory that we're like, man, Caleb did that.
Yeah.
The Eagles game was the running game.
Yep.
So the Browns game was marquee to us because of the Shador Caleb bet. Yeah. But in big picture, you're playing the Browns. There also is a bit for this specific matchup, a little bit of college football to it, which is, for a lot of college football fans, the single most important thing every year is to beat your rival. Like, we get caught up in the playoff and the national championship. It's beat your rival. Sure. And there isn't anything exactly like that in the NFL, but the closest thing to it is the way the Bears view the Packers.
Agreed.
Not the way the Packers view the Bears.
I agree.
But the Bears have felt like, and Danny obviously can speak to this better than me, but they've always had the upper hand. And even the years we've had the upper hand, it was despite the fact they had the far better quarterback. And if in a year where Caleb is playing well and ascending, if he has 2 bad games against the Packers, if they get swept by the Packers, when Ben Johnson was talking about, I like beating Matt LaFleur twice a year, I think that really stymies some of the internal momentum, as opposed to, first game against the Green Bay, bad first half, awesome second half, ended with a disastrous, turnover. Then I took that second half performance into the next week, beat them, put a stranglehold on the division. Like, that's the other piece of this. You win this game, and the Bears are almost assuredly going to have a home playoff game. Correct. They're still alive for the 1 seed, a lot there.
Same is true for the Packers.
Correct.
Yeah. And the Packers, here's the last thing I'll say about it. They need to establish, I'm sure they're reeling. And they'll deny it now, and it's been a few days, but still, you just lost your best player. Yep. You lost the guy that everybody thought was going to lead you to the Super Bowl. They need their quarterback, who is a very good quarterback, to go out there and show everybody we're good. We're fine.
Don't you?
Yeah. It's interesting to me, though, because I can go both ways on this for sure. Jordan Love or Caleb. And this is kind of the similar conversation that we had, like, who has more to lose, the Bears or the Packers, what they did the last time they played each other. And the reality is, for me, considering how Jordan Love's career has unfolded, with him obviously sitting on the bench and, behind Aaron, and then playing great in 23, and then 24, the injury and whatnot, in and out of the lineup, and now 25, all this momentum that they had, and then unfortunately injuries. More to prove. Jordan Love is supposed to be solidified in that top 4 category that we always say: Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, right? It's always like, well, we know those 4 quarterbacks, and then everyone else. And there was real momentum and real conversations, and depending on what day you talk to Colin, that's where Jordan Love is. And now's the time to truly solidify that. And the best way you do that after a really tough loss against the Broncos and losing Micah, it's this next game on the road, Chicago, you take care of business. Yeah, absolutely take care of business. You take care against this up-and-coming team, this first-year head coach, this second-year quarterback. You leave no doubt who is the better quarterback. That is what Jordan... Because if not, if you don't do that, it's more to prove, and Caleb plays better and wins and whatnot. In the eyes of many people, and I'm not saying this should, but in the eyes of many people, Jordan Love then gets leapfrogged. And it becomes Caleb is the better quarterback. The Packers are now on their back foot. And considering the fact that Jordan Love is legitimately established here, that's, from my viewpoint, that becomes problematic. It should be at least confusion. I don't know who's better, Josh Allen or Lamar, or Burrow or Lamar, or Allen or Mahomes, right? And this, I know everyone has their own views on that, but that has to be the bare minimum for Jordan Love to at least establish that. To at least it can't get away from him. Can't get away from him. And if you think about what would Josh Allen do, what would Patrick Mahomes do, Lamar, Burrow. we can say with a pretty high degree of confidence that they would ball out, that they would get the job done. Patrick Mahomes in this type of game, losing his Micah, losing Chris Jones, and now having to go, on the road against, it's hard because obviously their division's kind of junky, but against just a tough opponent, he's not going to lay an egg. He's not going to have a game where he has 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 210 yards, and a fumble. It's just not going to happen. It's just not. And it is something that I really, really respect about specifically those 4 quarterbacks. And they've had their own issues. They've had their own failings and whatnot. But the level of consistency, that is one of the most under-discussed aspect of what truly makes these quarterbacks genuinely elite. They can't do it all the time. And sometimes the injuries, the team itself is too much, so that percentage gets even lower. But like their hit percentage of I'm going to be great, I'm going to have a great game, it's just so much higher. You can make the argument that Dak Prescott, or, I try not to use specific names because it triggers so many people. We'll just use Dak. That Dak Prescott has had some absolutely insanely incredible games where you're like, dude, Mahomes does that. Josh Allen does that. And you're like, yeah, that could be objectively a true statement. But he can't do it anywhere close to the degree of regularity that like Josh Allen or Mahomes do it. They could do it every once in a while. They could do it, this is what I was talking about. Like maybe Dak can do it 3 out of 10 times, but Mahomes and Josh can do it 8 out of 10 times. And that changes based on like how good the roster is. And so you could make the argument, well, their injuries, no Kraft, no this, no that. And I get it. I do. But like, this is when you show your level of resilience. And again, I'm, a Josh Allen or a Mahomes, even though their hit rate gets lowered when if Kelsey's not there or, whoever's not there for Josh, obviously Josh has not had the same level of consistent roster as say Mahomes has. It doesn't get boiled down to 0. Like it doesn't turn into nothing. It doesn't turn into like a no chance. We've seen it. And obviously I know Mahomes has had a rough go at it as of late, obviously. But we know he can bring it. We know he can show out. Even when his roster isn't perfect. And so that's what I'm looking for Jordan Love. I understand the runway is there's like more steps to climb for Caleb because of where he's at in his career relative to Jordan Love. And maybe it's because the way how I operate is like, I've told you guys this before, like I run away from failure rather than run towards success. Jordan Love is closer to that success, and so he has to just continue to run as fast as he can away from the failure. And I the way how I look at it too is where if Jordan Love has a rough go at it and Caleb has a great game, Jordan Love falls further down. Again, I'm not saying that this is what it should be, but this is what it will be. He falls further down than Caleb gains. Don't get me wrong. If Caleb has like a 410-yard game and he throws 3-4 touchdowns and he's making insane plays and he's like, I own you now. Like, yeah, that could be a big stamp. That could be a big stamp of like, I am here. Not necessarily expecting that style of game. And obviously if you get any type of extreme where one quarterback plays terrible, another quarterback plays out of this world, right? You get speaking of Josh Allen, you get a Josh Allen game. Well, then, that kind of changes things, right? Then that does become Caleb's like, I have arrived. This is who I am. But if we just kind of get like a battle, decent game, it's like, Jordan Love needs to be great. You need to leave this game thinking Jordan Love was great. He was awesome. He was awesome. And Jordan Love against the Denver Broncos was on track for that. And yeah, I do blame them for the turnovers. I that's the benefit that I get to have when I defend and praise and be as honest as grounded as I can about everyone, but especially about Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. That like, I'm not afraid to say like, yeah, I'm not okay. Like I'm upset with that. That is not. I expect better I expect higher quality play because that is what I think of you. That is how I view you. If I was being biased and a hater on Jordan Love and this, that, then like if I said that, it's like, well, you know, he actually played pretty well. And it's like, yeah, he did, but I expect better. I expect more. And so now this game right here, it's like, prove that Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson have fallen out because of injuries and whatever. And Jordan Love is there. 2024, I was screaming, Jordan Love, MVP, let's go. MVP, let's go. I went on a whole rant. Green Bay Packers, got to pay Jordan Love. There's zero risk involved because at a minimum, you know you're going to have him as your quarterback for at least 2 years, even if he doesn't play as great as you want him to. Like, you know he's going to be your quarterback for a couple years. He's not going to fall off an absolute cliff. So if the money is going to be spent anyway, so just spend it. You know, pay him all this. The floor's got to be the NFC Championship game, etc., etc., etc. And it's like things have changed. Injuries to him, injuries to the roster, no doubt. But this roster should be good enough right now against this up-and-coming team. I'm not saying you should win the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that you got to be able to outduel, the Rams with Stafford with Puka Nacua and Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams and whatnot. Like, it's like, I'm not going that far. But it's like, I need you to be the man. I need you to be the man. I need you to be like, yep. Like, this is where you evoke your inner Aaron Rodgers, and you're like, I own this. I am him. This is it. Especially coming off a game where, like, Caleb is really feeling himself now. He is really feeling himself. His confidence is through the roof. It's a shame Mike is not here. I don't even want to think about it. It bums me out too much. Because that would be a great matchup to continue to watch. I got to get off it because it's going to make me too upset. But when he answered in the press conference, when they were like, do you think that was, an ill-advised throw? And he goes, I can make every throw on the field. And it was like, whoa, buddy. Relax. It's up to the Packers to be like, oh, can you? Can you make every throw? Prove it. And then it's up to the Packers to prove, no, you can't. No, you can't, little buddy. Our quarterback can, though. Our quarterback can. That's the objective. Win this game, be the better team. It's that simple. It's that simple. And it's funny, and this is exactly how I ended the Packers clip the last time they played. And I was like, and I can go on a whole rant about the opposite, about Caleb Williams. And it's time for Caleb to prove this and that, and this is what you do. You take down the Packers and yada yada yada. They're hampered, no Micah, etc. You're at home. But I'm still looking at it more through the Green Bay Packers because of who they are, who they've been with Jordan Love. I don't mean like I don't care what happened in 1997. That means nothing to me. But like right now, who you've been with in this era, Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, Green Bay Packers. Like it's time. It's time. We can talk about, the Eagles and the Chiefs have gotten a lot of heat and hate over these last, few years or so. And I understand because they've been the two most successful teams, specifically in like the last 3-year window, 4-year window, whatever window you want to use, 22 to 23, 24, etc. And I get it, right? I really do. And even if the Eagles can't figure this out this season or whatever, which I see a lot of people dunking on them, and it's like, they still found their ways though. They in 2021 they weren't anything that special, and then in 22 they got to a Super Bowl. They struggled in 23, then in 24 got to the Super Bowl and then dominated the Kansas City Chiefs in a way that no team had ever done, not even Tom Brady and the Bucs. And when these other teams that are starting to feel confident that they're building something special, whether it be the Packers, whether it be the Bears, the Lions, whatever it is, it's like you got to reach a point where you got to prove it. You got to show. That's why I laugh at the Dallas Cowboys, because it's like they're talking about this is the year, man. We got it, and it's like, well, then you've been saying this for decades. Even now, this year was like, yeah, we made changes, we made trades. You guys can't wait. You just wait until you have to face us. it's going to be over. And it's like, yeah, it's over for the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott's MVP. You're not even making the playoffs right now. You're not making the playoffs. It's like, don't know what to tell you. And so that is the lens that I view the Packers through, not the level of the Cowboys in terms of their nonsense, but of just like, there does have to be that point where it's like, are you putting this thing together? Like, are you putting it together? Like, let's go. You got enough of the pieces in place to at least consistently be competitive at the highest level. Doesn't mean you have to win the Super Bowl every year. Doesn't mean you have to get to the Super Bowl. Doesn't mean you have to get to the NFC Championship game every year. But you got to have that sense that every year we got a chance. The Ravens don't do it every year. The Bills don't do it every year. But every year you're like, no, they have a real chance. The Cowboys, that's a made-up chance. The Lions had the 1 year and they haven't been able to repeat it. They just haven't. That was their closest year in 23. I think it was 23. And they haven't been able to repeat it. They just haven't. And now they're struggling to make the playoffs. So when you look at the franchise through the highest lens, with the highest praise, it really is, like the expression I always say all the time, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Like that's what it is. Unless you don't view the Packers and love through that lens. If you don't, and you view them through a lower lens, then okay. Then the expectations are lowered. But that's why I look at a team like the Eagles, the Chiefs, etc. It's just like, no, look, that is what the expectations are. That is what you need to do. Anything less than that is like, there's a problem, because those teams refuse to be like, no, we are not the Dallas Cowboys. We are not the New York Giants. We are not those other teams. We find our way through. And the Rams are trying to prove it too right now, this year. They're trying to prove like we're part of that party too. We're highly run. We get it done. When we have momentum, we perform, we capture. And if there's injuries, we still find ways through it. And so it's just like, that's what I'm looking at the Packers. And Jordan Love is the charge of that, the leader of that. And Matt LaFleur, to be fair. But like, Jordan Love's the quarterback. And, you know, a lot of people, and I'm just kind of sticking with the Jalen, you know, with the Eagles comp, because it fits very smoothly. It really does. People are like, Jalen Hurts, he's only could be great when he has a run game and when he has an O-line and when he has receivers and great defense and this and that. And it's like, okay, let's say all that's true. Well, then the other quarterbacks have to prove that they can accomplish amazing things then without a perfect situation, having a devastating loss like a Micah Parsons or something. Otherwise, then I guess everyone's just Jalen Hurts and everyone's just rooting to have a great team built around them. And if that's the case, all right, great. Fine. But then let's make sure we have conversations in that direction then. Let's not just pick and choose. So I'm super excited about this game. Saturday night, 8:20 Eastern, Fox. That's got to be Tom Brady, I assume, right? Because that's obviously the biggest primetime game on Saturday. Although I guess is he gonna call Saturday and Sunday games? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But didn't he also call the last Bears-Packers game? Yeah, he did. Because he was talking about Caleb leaving the pocket too soon. I hope we get Greg Olsen, but it doesn't matter. But this game, man. This game's going to be great. I can't wait. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Jordan Love or Caleb? Who has more to prove on Saturday? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.